Hello and welcome to the Girl That Went For It podcast. I'm your host, Johanna Scholz, also known as Johanna Liana on Instagram, and author of Believe in Life, How to Dance in the Rain. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Johanna_Liana, for daily content. And now enjoy this episode. 2024 has definitely been the year where I started trying new things again, and I want to try new things in the next few months as well. I started doing CrossFit, which I really enjoy. I started playing football again. I did that in the past, but I started trying a new team, joining a new team. I started doing mindful afternoons with friends, whether it is painting or talking about like mindset, but more in like a hobby way, like doing mind maps together. I want to get into baking more. I also started doing this podcast here on YouTube this year. So there are so many new things that I tried. And today's episode is about hobbies and why hobbies are so important and how hobbies help us to live a happier, more fulfilling life. Learning new things is so cool. Finding new things that you enjoy is so cool. I actually did an episode about what's cool. So I feel like that's why I say this word now. But hobbies, having a hobby is so cool. We're living in a world where we're always online. I mean, you're watching this now online probably too, or listen to this online. But we're living in a world, we're living in 2024 where we have our phone always in our pockets. We have like the internet right there. We can connect with people. We can watch videos for hours. Kind of distracted from reality. Not saying what you see on social media is not real, because it is, it is most of it, like it's the real life, and often it's only the highlights of a life. But what I'm trying to say is that life is happening outside of our phones, right? We're literally watching other people's life on our phones and what's happening in the world, which is good because we can get a lot of information from there. And we can become aware of what's happening in the world. But also, it is so important to reconnect with ourselves and do something that we truly enjoy outside from our phones, outside from the online world. And there are so many benefits of having a hobby. And in this episode, I'm going to talk about this, but I'm also going to talk about, in general, living your most happy, fulfilled life. And I mean, it all starts with you. You have to feel good. And it's not like something you find on your phone. I'm a content creator, right? Like I use my phone daily. I film, I edit. There's always something that I can do on my phone. But I also I enjoy this. I enjoy doing this, but I also really cherish the moments without my phone. I sometimes really want to get rid of my phone. I put in do not disturb, so I also don't get distracted, because it's so easily when something pops up on your phone to check it. It grabs our attention. But for me, if I think back, and I want you to think of that as well, like the happiest moments, when you think back, when were you the happiest? It wasn't when you were on your phone. It wasn't when you were watching something on your phone. It was when you were in the here and now and present in this moment, doing something that you enjoy, doing something that maybe gives you purpose, makes you happy, fills up your cup. In our daily lives, it's easy to do the things we need to do. Going to work, doing the washing, cleaning up the house, unloading the dishwasher, or I don't know, like all the household things. It is so easy that we get trapped in this circle called daily life. But how many of you, after they finish work, maybe done a few things on their list, groceries or whatever, but how many of you that are trapped in that daily life are doing something for themselves? How many of you come home from work, maybe clean up a little bit, prep dinner, have dinner, like the things we need to do because we need food, and then end up either scrolling on their phones, watching Netflix or YouTube? I mean, I could probably guess kind of how many people in my age do that. I don't know, I would say 80% probably, or even the younger generation do that as well, because that's what we know. We have a phone, we can do that. But then it is so important to become aware of how much time we actually spend on the phone and how much time we actually spend doing something that makes us feel good, because time flies when you scroll. You can end up on TikTok. I'm not saying anything negative about it, because I do it myself as well, but I'm also aware of these things, and I do a lot of things that fill up my cup, and I feel so good after that, and I'm getting to that later. But what I want to say is apps are created, like social media is created to keep you on the app, to keep scrolling. The algorithm will show you things that you're interested in, which is cool. If you're like planning a wedding like I do, you get all this wedding content and all these ideas. I love it. But also it can steal your time. Like, how often do we scroll and then realize, oh my gosh, an hour has passed? And yes, sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need a day where we just chill and scroll. Nothing wrong with that. But I don't want you to spend your whole life doing that. And this is probably quite harsh to say that. But if you literally look back on your week, when did you do something for yourself that wasn't something you needed to do? Like, what we need to do is like work, groceries, cooking, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the daily things. When was the last time you did something for you that you enjoyed? And that's what I want to talk about today, hobbies. As kids, we had hobbies. We went, I don't know, football training. We went to school, and then after school we had something on. We went to dance class. We had our bike in the garage or wherever you had your bike, and we went out and spent hours biking around with our friends. We learned, I don't know what it's called in English actually. I remember spending hours trying to ride this bike where you only have one wheel. I don't know what the name is of that. But you know, like you spend time trying to learn it. And people might say nowadays, the adults, I don't have time for that. And I totally understand that. Life gets busy, and maybe you're in a busy season of your life. But it's so crucial that you make time for these things, that you learn something new, that you start, like, we are never too old to learn something new. We're never too old to try a new hobby. We're never too old to try to ride a bicycle or whatever it is. I'm going to look it up now. I just said bicycle, and I was like, I want to look up now what the other thing is that I just meant. The thing I was talking about was a unicycle. Which makes so much sense, like one. Anyway, I spent hours as a kid trying to learn that. And there's nothing wrong with that, picking that hobby up now. I'm not even feeling like maybe I should buy one. But how cool is it to learn something new in the present moment, in life on earth? I feel like this, I want to make this like a wake-up call for anyone who spends too much time on their phones, and also anyone who only does things they need to do and not really taking time for themselves. I actually had a conversation with a friend the other day about how hard it is to live slow in a world we're living in now, because we have phones, we're always connected, we can always distract ourselves, there's always more than that we can do and achieve because there's so many possibilities. But therefore, hobbies are so important to slow down and to really live in this moment. I'm so passionate about this topic because I also realized how much I missed having a hobby. The last year was a big hustle year for me. To the end of the year, I realized this is not what I want to keep on doing, even though I loved it. But I really wanted to do something different this year. And I joined CrossFit, which I really enjoy. I work for myself, so I'm working from home by myself, which can be quite lonely. So that's why I love going somewhere and doing a training with other people. I still love going to the gym by myself. But anyway, I tried that, something new, started football again, which I absolutely enjoy. Joined a new team, which I look forward to going to training. I look forward to do things that I enjoy. I didn't realize how much I missed it until I played again. And I look forward to Sunday games. I just love it. Before we get more into this, I thought I'd just share a little definition or explain what a hobby is. A hobby is an activity that someone engages in for pleasure, relaxation, or personal satisfaction rather than a primary job or for financial gain. Hobbies are often pursued during one's free time and can encompass a wide range of interests and activities. They serve as a way for individuals to explore their passions, develop new skills, and unwind from the stresses of daily life. That's a hobby. Do you have a hobby? So why are hobbies important? I already named a few, but I want to name a few more, and that is stress relief. Engaging in hobbies can help you reduce stress and promote relaxation. They provide a break from the daily hustle, the daily need to do's, the daily circle. Like we sometimes are in like a hamster wheel. Is that how you say it? And we just keep on doing, and then out of a sudden a month has passed. Also, hobbies can help you for personal fulfillment, for your health, skill development. Learning something new, using your brain is so beneficial, like for your health, and also in general, so good to learn a new skill, learn a new language. How cool. I actually want to put that on my list one day. Not at the moment. I feel this year is not really about learning new languages, but I can picture myself in the future learning a new language. Hobbies are also great for social connection. There is social media nowadays and we can connect online, which is great, but we are human beings and we need social connection. And here's the thing, sometimes when we spend too much time in solitude and too much time alone, it feels really hard to engage socially again. And when you have a hobby, when you do something that you love, combined with connecting with people at that place, that's amazing. That's just really beneficial, the social connection, because we are human beings. We are social people, even though you don't have to be social all the time. I'm someone, I love my weekends at home. I love my me time. But the cool thing is with hobbies, you go there for an hour and you socialize, and then you do something you enjoy, and then you go back home. Hobbies also can give you a sense of purpose outside from work, outside from the need to do's. Hobbies can really help you to express who you are or who you want to be. Trying a new hobby, like becoming the person you want to be. It can give you a purpose and meaning beyond your professional, like what you do for a job. As I said earlier, you might be in a busy season of your life, and we all go through busy phases in our life, but I just want you to become aware of this. I want you to become aware of you realizing, oh my gosh, I am really busy right now. I don't have time for any hobbies. But I want you to reflect on how you spend the last 2 or 3 hours before you go to bed. Are you scrolling on your phone? And do you have to do this every day? Or could you pick up a hobby? Could you start painting, reading, learning a new language in that time, something you enjoy, learning a new instrument? Could you spend that time different than being on your phone? I can guarantee you it will bring you more happiness than scrolling on your phone 5 days a week. I know weekends might look different, 5 days a week at night. And you have the time, you can make the time, even though like a busy season. And I don't have kids yet, so I can't really speak from experience how it is once you have kids. But what I just want to say is yes, or asking yourself, are you yes, or knowing, yes, I'm in a busy phase, but asking yourself, do I really not have time to do something that fills up my cup, to do something that gives me purpose? Because I'm sure you have at least 2 hours during your busy season, during your busy week, that you can reserve for you to do something you enjoy, to pick up a new hobby. It doesn't have to be like team sports or something where you have commitments. It could be simple as going to Kmart and buying some paint and do a little crafty session. I started doing that, and sometimes I crave to do that at night. I don't want to be on my phone. I put my phone away and I do something that I really enjoy. I read, I paint, or do painting by numbers, like whatever that gives you a sense of purpose. And you will realize once you put your phone away and do something in this present moment, you're not missing out on anything online there. The algorithm will push it your way next time you go on your phone, honestly. You don't have to stay on there. To do something that really fills up your cup, that is in this moment right here, not on the other, like not in your little phone. I also had this thought the other day, and I mentioned it to Jules just when we were laying in bed, and still, like, I scroll sometimes as well, but I prefer when we go to sleep that we just chat before we go to sleep and then put our phone, like have our phones away, have a little chat, conversation, connect. That is so important to me. And not being after that on our phones again and then going to sleep. I don't like that, and I don't do that. I know that a lot of people still scroll, and I mean, that's the hard part in the world we're living in right now. I'm just like, it is, we have it, right? And I was saying to Jules the other night, I was just saying, what do people do without phones? Like, what did our parents do when they went to sleep? I remember my mom was always reading. And then I think of my childhood and how lucky I am that I think when I was 14, I had my first computer, and then spent a lot of time on my computer chatting to friends, MSN, ICQ. I don't know if you remember that. But I'm so happy that we had this time before that where we could be more present. And nowadays kids even grow up earlier with iPhones. I mean, the parents, we are going to have iPhones and be on our phones, and our kids will literally only know us with a phone, with an iPhone, with a smartphone, whatever brand you have. Isn't it sad how we just have our phone when we get bored? Isn't it sad how as soon as we get bored, we just can take our phone and just get distracted? I think that's really sad, and I really want to change that for myself as well. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I don't do that. The other day, I remember Jules and I were in the lounge, and I think he was on the phone. I mean, he always researches things with his hobbies, which is cool, but I also am then sometimes, it's just me, get a bit annoyed, and I'm like, oh, can we not put our phones away and do something, like play like a board game or something? But in that moment, like, I don't mind, he can do that, and I know he wants to research things, or just enjoys what he's doing. So I was just sitting there and I was like, wow, I'm actually bored. And I was like, what a privilege to be bored. Like, that was on the weekend, because I don't want to do anything work related on the weekend. I don't want to do content creation on the weekend because it's what I do for living. And I was just like, I don't want to work, even though I really enjoy it. And I could like edit things on the weekend. I could edit podcasts and stuff. But I was like, I actually don't want to do that right now. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to be bored for a minute and going to think of what will fill up my cup right now. What could I do right now that will make me happy? And most of the times it's going for a walk outside, doing something like movement-wise. Or then I was like, oh, maybe I could paint. I could go to Kmart and get some more crafty things. There are so many options that we have that we can do. We're just so not used to doing it anymore, which I think is sad sometimes. I really want to get into knitting, by the way. I think that's going to be my winter hobby, knitting. I want to knit a cardigan. I want to knit a scarf. I'm definitely going to do that this winter. And maybe you're not like, maybe you have hobbies, and like, I'm not saying everyone is like that, but I'm just want to share like a little wake-up call to look into what is my interest, what do I enjoy doing, what can I do to live my life? Because your life is not by watching videos online. Even though you're watching this right now and you're listening to this podcast, thank you. But I just want to give you a little inspiration of doing more for yourself. And as I said, inspiration, I also want to give you some inspiration what a hobby can be. So maybe it will help you to find your hobby. And also trying a new hobby and realizing it's not for me, it's not for you, or like, you know what I mean? It's good too, because then at least you tried it. Imagine you try a new hobby and you really love it and you thought you wouldn't really enjoy it. How cool is that? Okay, so your little exercise for today is to sit still and think about, what do I really enjoy doing? What fills up my cup? I want to give you some examples of hobbies, how they can look like. They could be outside hobbies like gardening, biking, running, unicycle, like I just said, rollerblading, learning how to ride a bike if you can't ride a bike, learning how to skate. That could be something cool to do, and I could see myself actually trying that, skating. Ice skating, depending on where you are. Hockey, whatever, like any outside sport, any team sport could be a hobby. That's probably more into activities actually, like all these things, team sport and any other sport, like cooking, baking, going to a cooking class, doing cooking with friends. Maybe do like those perfect dinners once a week or once a month with your friends, starting like a cooking club. Or that reminds me of like a book club. So reading could be a hobby that you can pick up. Learning a new language, joining a book club. What else is there? You can literally put in Google and write down like, what are hobbies, or Pinterest hobbies, and you can just get heaps of ideas what a hobby could be. There are like, that's why social media is good. There are Facebook groups from your home village or town probably, where you can find things that are on that you could pick up as a hobby. So that's, I'm not saying social media is bad. I mean, I use it daily, and it's what I do for a job. So there's so many possibilities to connect with people online and to find hobbies. So why not use that? Why not use social media to find something you can do? And that again reminds me of when I moved to New Zealand. That's what I used to meet people. That's what I used to connect with people. That's also what I used to find a surfing, surfing lesson, surf school online, what I wanted to pick up as a hobby. We have all these opportunities nowadays. Like, we have the internet, social media, which is amazing in some ways, to find these things. So we should actually take advantage of that and look up, what could I do in my free time? What hobby can I pursue to fill up my cup, to live more fulfilled, to live more in the present moment? Thank you so much for listening. If you want to join monthly coaching calls where I talk about topics like this and heaps of more topics, and be in like a group coaching with me as your coach, as someone you can share your thoughts with, your limiting beliefs, your struggles, and also communicate and share in a group and connect and have amazing chats, check out the link below, Mindful Living Collective, where we have monthly calls and exercises, all to benefit you to live your best life, connect with like-minded people, and so on and so forth. And yeah, I hope you find your hobby. I hope you reflect on your daily life. Maybe you already have a hobby, which is amazing. Maybe you find something new you want to do. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing day.